one of a kind, ruby circled steel, the only one in the world with a red band, made specifically for Mr. Wonderful. Hey everybody, Mr. Wonderful here. I'm a few minutes late. I said I'd go live at 5 o'clock because we're going to have some fun this afternoon. I went to the vaults today to pick out 12 new pieces for season 15 of Shark Tank. I call them the Dazzling Dozen. But I'm late because I had to go down to the wine cellars and get my favorite Chardonnay. Because if we're going to talk about watches, we want to sip a little Chardonnay wine. Won 5 awards for this one. 2019, just delicioso maximoso. Let me have a little sip here before we start.
If you have employees, you need to check out the ERC program, Chef Wonderful.
Why, Mr. Wonderful?
Because it's cash flow that you don't have to pay back. Good to know. This guy's so smart and so handsome. Go to wondertrust.com to see if you're eligible.
Chihuahua, that's good. All right, now, why do I need 12 watches? Well, there are multiple looks during a season of Shark Tank. Now, what's a look? Let's say you've got a set where it's the standard set. For example, it could be Mark over on the right, beside him, Damon, then me, then Lori, then Robert. Or it could be Barbara, right? Those are the 6 classic sharks. But every time there's a different configuration, that's a look. Now, Barbara will wear a different dress. Lori will wear a different dress. Everybody wears different stuff, not me. I wear what I'm wearing right now, the Shark Tank uniform. That's right, check it out. Crisp, exciting. Fashionista, tie pin, white shirt, black tie, red poof, matches, red bands on the watches, obviously, very important. But the red always stays, that's for continuity, red bands, but the watches, the way I tell which look it was is each time there's a different look, I wear a different watch. So, and each year I want different watches. So I need at least a dozen new pieces. That's 1 watch a month. Yeah, it sounds crazy, but I say it's a great investment. So let's talk about season 15. I went to the vault today. I had a lot of fun. Every year, now if you're a watch fashionista, you know the Rolex Daytona, the steel whiteface Daytona, is a classic. In fact, last year at the Phillips auction, I sold my season 13 for charity. Got about $65,000. That's fantastic, classic red band. But this year, I'm going to shake it up a little bit because I'm going vintage Daytona. That's right. The new Daytonas have black bezels, whether you get the black dial or the white dial. But this is the classic all steel white. You don't see this anymore. This watch became immensely popular in Italy years and years ago. Young Italian males went crazy for this. Their girlfriends fell in love with it. This became a standard watch for men and women all around the world. And then, of course, that Paul Newman Daytona sold for $17+ million, and everything Daytona went crazy. Now, I've added the red band. This is a rubber B, the perfect integration. You see no space there. So this is going to be my Daytona for season 15. Never worn before. This is in perfect shape, even though it's a vintage watch. I think shaking it up a little bit is a great idea for Shark Tank 15. You know, you want something different, but never been worn on Shark Tank before. So they're looking for this one. That's a start. Now, let's go crazy, okay? Every once in a while, a watch comes along that is just an Chihuahua. Wait, this watch is so crazy, I'm going to show you that I have to have a sip of Chardonnay first. Nice. It's so crisp, that beautiful apple-y, long ending, just perfect. A little, it's not heavily oaked, which is what I like. I oak this with chips and steel, so I get something really crisp, almost Montrachet-like, French version of Chardonnay. Okay. I like to mix it up with different brands. I want to support all watchmakers. You know, every brand has unique attributes to it. And certainly we've got the classics, and I will have those horsemen. So you talk about Rolex, Patek Philippe, you know, Audemars Piguet, these are huge. And of course, coming up now, really big, FP Journe. You'll see them all in today's showcasing. But let's go to the rainbow. This is an absolute beauty from Patek Philippe. I don't know how many made it to America, maybe 3, I'm not sure. But it was made factory with a red band. And, you know, I've been talking to Patek forever, absolutely forever about this piece and saying to them, come on, you made an Aquanaut for Asia with a red band, a factory red band. You know, Patek's very particular, and I understand that and I appreciate it. They want you to wear factory. This is a factory red band. So when I saw this piece from the 2023 Collection, I went crazy. And I said to Patek, if ever there was a watch made for Mr. Wonderful that should be on Shark Tank, this is the piece. And maybe that appealed to him, maybe it didn't, I don't know. But here it is in the Collection for season 15 on Shark Tank. And it is absolutely spectacular. Look at that. Gorgeous. You've got diamonds. You've got the rainbow colors, 2 different layers. The classic Aquanaut, the beautiful dial that has made Patek so famous. You can recognize it from across the room, that shape. But that red is just spectacular. Now, of course, Lori's going to go berserk when she sees this. She's going to want it for herself. Every woman that's seen this watch on my wrist has gone crazy, saying that is not a man's watch. Au contraire, it is a man's watch, and it's absolutely stunning. And everybody that sees it goes, what is that? Beautiful. Absolutely spectacular. But, as they say in the infomercials, wait, there's more. But of course there's more. We're talking about the Dazzling Dozen. Where do we go next? Let's go. I want to save something for the end. I've got something so special for the end, you're just going to freak. You see this. Let's go Lange, a German watch. The Odysseus, white gold, the only one in the world with a red band. I think this is a spectacular piece because the dial is absolutely so incredible. It's going to look great on camera. That taupish dial, just absolutely beautiful. Think about Lange. A lot of people don't understand why they're so hard to get. The watch is completely assembled by the watchmakers. It's tested. Does it work 100%? The answer is yes. They take it apart and assemble it again and put in the jewels. And that's what's happened here. Very expensive, very time-consuming, very sought after. The Odysseus is a gorgeous piece. First time, this is a new watch for my collection, acquired this year, going into the Shark Tank Dazzling Dozen. You may have heard of Grand Seiko. Incredibly made watch in Japan. But if you want to turn it up to 11, in other words, your amp's at 10, but you want to go to 11 with Grand Seiko, you go Creedor. Now, you may not have heard of Creedor, but Creedor is made for Japanese collectors. Rarely, ever, do one of these come over to America. The polish these Japanese guys make is so spectacular. The piece is so beautiful, so elegant, and it's just got this beautiful sweep and crunch when you dial it. It is gorgeous. Now, you may not have heard of a Creedor, or you heard of it now. Look at how well polished that gold is, 18 karat gold. That is going to look spectacular. The only one in America with a red band, factory red band, just beautiful. Let me bring something up. When I'm wearing a platinum, white gold, or steel watch, I'm using these skulls. They're silver. They look terrific. It's a great combo. It's part of the Shark Tank outfit. And of course, I'm a fashionista, so I want to have some consistency. But when I go gold, Creedor, I've got to turn it up to 11 on the cufflinks. So where do I go? I call my good friends in London, England. You know, these make me cry. They're so beautiful. A Deacon and Francis. And I go gold, 18 karat gold skulls. Scatty, very, very scatty. Look at that. Check out the eyes. They're empty sockets, but now you open it up. Diamond and ruby. Ichiwawa. Specifically designed for me. I said, make them look like David Bowie. Remember, he had 2 different colored eyes. I just love that. So when we go Creedor, we're definitely going to go gold. There's no question about it. You want that because at the end of the day, you want the case to match the cufflink. And of course, the tie pin will be gold as well. I just happen to have a gold tie pin here. You know, when you're a fashionista, details really, really matter. You got to get it right. You don't want to screw that up. So, Sketty, Creedor, Ichiwawa. Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. Crazy good. All right, where do we go now? Well, the hits keep a coming because I think we're going to go to something you may not know a lot about. Karl Bucherer. Now, why? Well, you know what? That reminds me, it's time for a sip of Chardonnay.
Morning.
Spectacular.
Morning.
Now, why is Karl Bucherer important? Karl's brand has been around for about 137 years. This is a master watchmaker in Switzerland. Also bought many of the dealers around the world that deal watches. So, you've heard of Tourneau? Karl owns it. Karl Bucherer bought Tourneau. They're one of the largest dealers in the world. And every once in a while, when they open a new store like they did in New York, the Time Machine, they made 188 pieces with a blue dial. I went to the opening. I saw the piece. I went crazy. I bought it. Of course, we got a red band installed on it. Absolutely stunning, beautiful piece. Going to wear that on Shark Tank this year. I mean, I love that dial. You got to love it, right? So I'm introducing you something new. And by the way, all the sharks, you know, what do they know about watches? Nothing. I'm educating them. They're grasshoppers. They're learning. I'm bringing them into horology. And it's a great investment. It's a great asset class. You know, learn Grasshopper, learn about Karl Bucherer, learn about Patek Philippe, learn more about F.P. Journe. Yes, I give them night classes, sometimes 3 hours long, after we shoot Shark Tank. They're learning. I've been doing it for 15 years. All right, where do we want to go now? Oh, you ready? There's a brand that I've been talking about for a few years that's come rocketing up the charts. I mean, it's insane what's going on. There's actually an auction in Geneva today called The Art of F.P. Journe. These pieces go for millions of dollars. One piece that he made a few years ago, rumored to be worn by Putin. That's a bad thing. It's a rumor. We don't know for sure. When that word came up before there was any invasion of Ukraine, the watch went through the roof. Nobody knows if that rumor is true. The Chronometre Bleu. Why is this watch so beautiful? Why is it so coveted? Why does everybody want one of these and can't get one? Because if they make 100 dials, they make their own dial factory, okay? 66% are rejected. F.P. Journe is such a stickler for perfection that he wants every single dial to be perfect. So when you get a Chronometre Bleu, you're getting a perfect dial. And this dial changes color in light. Sometimes it's black, sometimes it's blue. Everybody that sees it, it's such a gorgeous tantalum case. I mean, just spectacular. That's definitely a Shark Tank watch, and you will see that on Shark Tank Season 15. Chronometre Bleu. Yeah, gorgeous. You know, sometimes simplicity. I'm all about the dial. You know, guys talk about the caliber and the technology, yada, 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 yada. Who cares? I care about what the dial looks like. I want a great dial. I want a story. I want something that I can really talk about and talks about me. You want a piece that people stop and say, what is that? That happens all the time with Journe, because I'm going to go right to the second Journe piece because, yeah, Journe is going to be represented twice. Now, this piece is really quite something. Let me find it. It's absolutely gorgeous. All right? Now, I have to tell you, this is called the Optimum Black Dial. You ever seen a dial crazier than that? No, you haven't. That's a very, very crazy dial, okay? That's Journe's classic kind of, what is that? You don't get a black dial until you're a collector. These are made for collectors of Journe watches. When people see the black dial, they know it's a part of a bigger collection. People know about it when they see it, and Journe collectors go crazy for this. And the Optimum is just a beautiful piece. They don't make many of them, but it's so spectacular and so classic and so unique. Absolutely gorgeous. You know, I love it. So imagine 2 Journes, 2 in season 15. All right. Now something I mean, this takes another sip of Chardonnay for sure. I love one-of-a-kind pieces. And I mean one-of-a-kind. Just one in the world. Chopard, jewelry/watch company, brought something to the auction at Phillips last December. I went in to put that Rolex white-faced Daytona that I talked about, and I met with Paul, the team there. And when I was sitting there getting all the papers and boxes worked out, Paul Boutros, who runs the show there with his team, said, I've got some amazing pieces here. They're all over the table. They're getting the auction ready. And I saw this watch, this crazy watch, this insane dial. I couldn't even believe it. It was too crazy. And I said, what is that? Is that a smiling skull? Que pasa, hombre? What is that? He said, yes. They commissioned an artist to carve this one-of-a-kind dial and put it on Chopard technology. It's the only one in the world. And I looked at it and said, oh my goodness. I didn't tell Paul anything at the time because I didn't want him to know I was going to bid, but I went to the auction in person to see my watch sell. I was very happy. But later this came up to auction and I wept like a child when I saw it. It's so crazy. It's so unique. It's so different. And it's one of a kind. When I wear this, people go nuts. They say, what is that? It only has one single dial on it. How does it work? Well, basically the minutes are on this one sweep and the hours in the teeth. You see it there? Yeah, it's nuts. Meanwhile, the skull is just looking at you. Now, talk about being perfect. I mean, come on. Skull versus skull. Ichihuahua, caramba. That's going to be fantastic. Another spectacular piece for Shark Tank. Season 15. All right. Getting close to the end now of the Dazzling Dozen. Let me tell you the story of a piece that has never made it to Shark Tank because I can't put a red dial on it. So let me show it to you. This is the Rolex Daytona Rainbow. Probably one of the most spectacular watches in my collection, and certainly appreciated and valued dramatically. And every basketball star that I meet wants this watch from me. Everybody. I've had countless offers to buy it, but I can't wear it because it doesn't have a red band. And there is no red band for it yet. However, the reason I wanted to show it to you, and it's part of the Dazzling Dozen, there is a chance that they will have a red band for Shark Tank in September, the second pod. Why? Because the new Daytona has the same calibration as this piece. In other words, if they make a red band for the new standard Daytona, which just came out this year, it will likely fit this watch and have a perfect integration. Remember what I talked about? I care about integration. See that perfect no space? I need that here too. So if that happens by September, I will wear this in the September block. And I'll put, obviously, the gold band back on it because I only wear these reds during the Shark Tank taping. That's part of my whole continuity shtick. But, I mean, that's a spectacular watch. That's why I brought it out to show you. Okay, let's go somewhere really unique. I want to talk about, remember, I'm spreading it around the brands here. I've shown you a bunch of different marks, different brands. I want to be consistent in supporting all watchmakers. Oh, shameless promotion. This O'Leary is ridiculously spectacular. How do you get it? QVC.com. I ship hundreds of thousands of cases at QVC because they pay for the shipping. And these wines are less than $14 a bottle, and they're nectar from the nipple of you-know-who. Okay. Well, maybe you don't know. I see a few questions here. It's my old saying about wine, nectar from the nipple of Aphrodite. I love Greek mythology. Now, let me take you somewhere really special. A brand that Teddy Baldassar introduced me to a few years ago, and I met Adam, the CEO, that I'd never considered for my collection. But I was so impressed with what they were doing with new materials on the cases that I stepped up big and bought 4 pieces. One of them is really connected with me. This is a Tudor, okay? Owned by Rolex. a classic Tudor. Let me tell you about this Tudor. I mean, I absolutely love this thing. And, you know, this is a 58 925, but what's unique about it, yes, it's a Submariner look, screw down crown. You can wear this 24/7, go 200 feet underwater, whatever it is. The case, this case, is made out of pure silver.
Hi, I'm Mr. Wonderful. If you own a business and have employees, you need to check out the ERC program at wondertrust.com. There's money waiting for you. I did, which is why I have time to tend to my precious little trees. He's such a good boy.
Now, why do you care about that? Tudor's been experimenting with different materials. One of the most interesting maker, because they're saying, why does it have to be? Why does it have to be made out of white, gold, platinum, or steel? Why can't we explore? Why can't we go off piste and try something else? Now, why do you think silver is so interesting? Let me tell you why. Silver changes over time with the chemistry of your skin. It gets a patina on it so that each watch becomes unique, connected with you almost chemically. Not only is it beautiful, the dial is pure perfection. The weight is beautiful because it's silver. But over time, as I've worn it in the last few months, it's started to change. It's converting to a one-of-a-kind silver watch, the Wonder Watch, the silver Tudor. And I think that merits a spot on Shark Tank season 15. So I'm definitely going to wear this. It'll look even different by the time I get it. Of course, red band, beautiful silver, red, black dial. I mean, that is really spectacular. It's just, you know, sometimes simplicity wins. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, we're getting to the end of the show. And I've kept something back that I think is just going to blow your socks off. I think the cat's out of the bag a little bit about this piece, because this journey with this, you remember I talked about one-of-a-kind watches, but the journey for this watch has taken 3 years. And I'll tell you, there's certain pieces that are iconic because of their look. They've been around since the 70s. Okay, I guess it's time. Now, are you ready? Audemars Piguet, Openwork, one-of-a-kind, ruby circled steel, the only one in the world with a red band, made specifically for Mr. Wonderful. And when I saw this watch, I posted a video. I actually broke down and cried because I've been waiting 3 years for it. It's the only one in the world. It is so stunning, so beautiful, so unique. It stops traffic. Now, the Openwork is legendary, very hard to get in its just production version. But this one, with a red sweep on the second hand, matching the color of the rubies that encrust it. I'll tell you, when we were building the watch, designing it, going back and forth with digital images, it took years. And I really had a dilemma because they were going to make it for me, same price, whether it was steel or platinum. Naturally, I thought to myself, I'll go platinum. Why wouldn't I want a precious metal? But I went to the community first. I went to the AP community. I went to the collectors, the hardcore. Remember, this watch is in the 70s. The design of this piece is from the 1970s. There are many, many collectors. This is considered an anchor in any collection, the Openwork. But what would they say? Do I go steel? Do I go platinum? What do you think they said? 99% said to me, are you out of your mind? It has to be steel. It has to go to the heritage of the original design. It must be steel. And after telling Audemars Piguet that I would go platinum, I had to call them back and say, wait, I've talked to the community. They've made a decision for me. We're going steel. One of a kind. Now, everybody's asking for this watch. I'm never going to sell it. Even my son said to me, Dad, that piece is like, he's waiting for me to croak. Not going to happen. You know why? This is coming in the coffin with me to the afterlife where I'm going to need a stylish piece because that's for eternity. I need to tell time. This is coming with me. You know, the pharaohs used to bury all their watches with them. Well, not watches, they're jewelry. But the modern day version of this is all of these pieces coming into the coffin. And I know it sounds macabre. And I was telling my wife this. She said, don't worry, I'll put them all in the coffin. I get the joke. But this piece has to come to the afterworld with me. It's too spectacular. It's too amazing. I rarely wear it out because it's uninsurable, because there's only one of them. I did wear it out last night in Miami. I snuck out there. It was on my wrist, and the maitre d' at Carbone's, very famous restaurant down here, saw it on my wrist and came over and said, is that what I think it is? I said, yes, just between us. That's what it is. And he said, even he had a tear in his eye. The watch makes men weep. I'm not kidding. Anyways, you've just seen the Shark Tank season 15, Dazzling Dozen. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. What a spectacular time I've had today with you. I hope you've enjoyed it. All of these watches will make their way to LA, probably by some secure method. Artemis, head of wardrobe, will see them all. We'll be matching them to those different looks I talked about. But, oh, a toast. I love all my watches. It's like all my children. I love my children equally. But a one-of-a-kind AP, Roby,